What is up, y'all? Snipes-n-Snarfblatts, your unauthorized place for Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. I'm your host, Jason, as always, and what a week it has been since I've seen you last. Avengers Endgame has steamrolled through the weekend, just destroying records in its path. We're going to get into a little of that later, but if you want to know my thoughts on the movie, go ahead and go to the website, snipes-n-snarfblatts.com, hit movie reviews, and there's a full movie review written out, non-spoilers as always. And if you go actually into the YouTube, you can see my first thoughts, and my first thoughts will be up also at Snipes-n-Snarfblatts video on the website, and you can get my first thoughts of how I felt coming straight out of the theater for that. But like I said, we're going to touch some more on Endgame a little later. We got a somewhat smaller show. There's not much to go over. That has never stopped us in running over time. So we are going to jump right into it, and we're going to bring out that mouse in the desk lamp. And the mouse in the desk lamp is where we talk about all things Disney and Pixar. Only have one thing, but it's a nice significant chunk because Aladdin has dropped a couple of TV spots, and these TV spots are great. And the TV spots and the trailers we've seen up until now have really just held on to that nostalgia, much like Lion King trailers are doing right now, where they're not really showing us anything new. They're just building on all of that stuff that we've grown to love and we know over the past from the classics. And that's really where Aladdin has been up until this point. And these trailers actually deliver us some of the new and what some newer things we can expect out of this envisionment of Aladdin. Like for one, it looks like Aladdin, as Street Rat Aladdin, will be breaking into the palace at one point. And he has this long talk with Jasmine about how he can't do that and this and this. And honestly, I loved this quote from the trailer. I'm going to read it off right here. So I wrote it down because I did not want to mess it up because I really liked what he said. He said, "If you don't have anything, you have to act like you own everything." I don't know why. I just thought that was a really cool line because I mean, for Aladdin, it's true, and I mean, I loved that line from the second he spoke it, and it goes to his back and forth with Jasmine and how much I'm really starting to dig the chemistry between these two that we're seeing so far in the trailers, and these TV spots also give us a little more sinister when it comes to Jafar. And I know y'all have been watching me for a while, know that was one of my biggest concerns I still had, is that this Jafar doesn't come off as inherently evil as the Jafar we're used to. I mean, you look at the original Jafar and you're like, nobody should trust that guy. Why is he even here? You know what I'm saying? That's a villain. So I get it that in a live action retelling, that's not going to work because it's just not believable. Like I said, who the hell would trust that guy? So this one, you really get to see the more of that. I feel like a more conniving, like a wolves in sheep clothing villain. You know what I'm saying? Much like we've been used to in these live actions ones so far. A very convincing villain who sounds like he could get you anything you want, and he's here for you. But truthfully, he won't make one move unless it advances his actual ambitions and goals. And I really am starting to get this out of this character, and I've actually started to see a bigger leap in these TV spots to a more sinister type Jafar as he starts to accumulate what he's trying to accumulate playing the game to get it. You know what I'm saying? Because we get our first real look at Evil Genie. You get to see him really burst out in the Red Genie for like maybe a split second. Right in between that and like the bird scene where Iago's all huge. And I mean, once again though, new scene. That's all new. We never saw a giant Iago chase Aladdin through the streets, you know what I'm saying? Or the rooftops. But I'm really digging the look so far. And then we got this other look that gives you a little more of the new fun of it, to say the least. Like you get some of the never had a friend like me shots, some more of that and stuff. And what my next favorite quote out of these TV spots that might even wind up being one of my favorite lines through almost any Disney movie ever, because you go through the whole never had a friend like me song, right? And Aladdin looks up at Genie and he's got the lamp in his hand. He looks at him and he goes, so how does this actually work? And Will Smith delivers this line better than probably anyone could deliver this line. But the line was, the whole song, what's the instructions? And oh my God, I just started laughing so much at that point because I thought that was great. I was like, that's perfect. That's the live action stuff I want to see out of some of these live action remakes, is just some of the common sense stuff that gets left out of the animated version. Like, I just sang you all the instructions. What do you mean? How does this work? Like that was a great line, delivered perfectly. And once again, it builds on how much I'm really starting to feel this Genie. Like, I'm liking this Will Smith as Genie thing the more and more I'm seeing it. I mean, I don't know if he can hold up to Robin Williams, but who can hold up to Robin Williams? He's literally one of the greatest, if not the greatest, comedians of all time, and definitely the greatest on-the-spot ad-libber of all time. So I don't know how he's going to hold up, but I really am coming around to liking this Will Smith as the Genie character. And all in all, like I said, my worries on Jafar are going away, and I'm really excited for this movie. I got my tickets already. I even had a choice between Fan Party and Dolby, and as much as I love the little swag I get from the Fan Party, I not only got a better ticket price to go to the Dolby and see it on the best screen in the most comfortable, best theater with the best sound I could possibly get, that by any means, that's how I want to see this. I want to see this movie the best I can see it. So I grabbed my tickets. I'm already ready. I've got it marked on the calendar, and y'all, I can't wait to go see this. I'm actually really excited for Aladdin after these past couple trailers and these past couple TV spots. So I really can't wait to see this movie now, and I've got nothing but hope going in and no real feelings of dread that this is going to be anything but great. Like, it may not be the greatest movie ever. Hell, it may not even hold up to the cartoon, but what I'm looking at in all these previews looks like no matter what it is, I'm probably going to enjoy myself a lot while seeing it. At least I hope so. We won't know for sure until later on this month, but I can't wait for that one. Anyway, that was everything for the Mouse and the Desk Lamp. I only had that one thing to touch, so we're going to move out of the Mouse and the Desk Lamp. And let's bring up that Nine Realms. Yes, sir, the Nine Realms is where we talk about Marvel stuff. And a little thing happened over the weekend that I mentioned earlier in Marvel news, and that was Avengers Endgame plowed through the world of box office, and my, we have never seen anything like this. One, like I said, check the site, look for my full review. I loved this movie. They've done something with this movie that I never ever thought possible, and that was tied together 21 movies, and they did it with a perfect little bow on top, and gave us some things to wonder about and look forward to coming in the future at the same time as they tied a bow on what we're going to call Volume 1, or they're calling the Infinity Saga. And this Avengers Endgame so far, as of last night when I checked Box Office Mojo, this movie in one day, less than a week, is now the number 8 all-time highest grossing movie. Number 8 at $1.48 billion. That's crazy. And it's up against a crazy number, but at $2.78 billion in Avatar, this thing is already almost halfway to beating it less than one day of a week in the box office. That is insane. I don't have to talk about all the numbers they own and all the records they broke for opening week, because that right there states all of it. All of it. Number 8 of all time. And it ain't even close to stopping because we haven't finished week 1. And they're already projecting another $160-180 million just for this next weekend coming up. So, I mean, there is a really good chance, and I know we've said it before, we said it was Star Wars, and Star Wars come close, but it still didn't even top Titanic, but I really do think this has a chance with all of the good publicity it's getting and how many people are ready to go see this again. Hell, I'm actually seeing it again this next week because my pops hadn't seen it yet, and I'm going to go see it at the Dolby. So that's one more ticket in it, but two more tickets under it. So, I mean, people are going to keep seeing this movie. The buzz is still big. The buzz is still real. And if this thing even keeps on close to this course, we might see an Avatar beater, or at least something that's really going to give Avatar a run for its money. And to say that for, once again, another 3 hour and some change movie, they said, oh, it can't be done because it runs too long and this and that. Well, suck on that. Number 8 in less than a week all time. That's insane, y'all. 1.48. That is almost $1.5 billion in less than a week. So just congratulations, Marvel Studios. Congratulations, Russo brothers. Congratulations, the original Avengers, Robert Downey, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner. All of y'all, Ruffalo, y'all made an amazing film here, and it's really going to pay off in the long run. You made history with this so many times that I think it's almost inevitable that y'all are eventually going to make history again. So that's just amazing numbers for Avengers. But we're not going to spend too much on the numbers. Obviously, they're amazing. There's not much more I can say other than keep ranting on about the same words and how great this is. So, Avengers Endgame, let's see where it goes. I mean, wow. So, anyway, next thing up for the Nine Realms is Hulu. Hulu is starting to look like Hulu is going to be the place where Marvel sends its dirty little secrets. But anyway, all of it's like just over the top, violent, just the R-rated fare that won't be on Disney Plus, that won't be your Falcon and Winter Soldier or Vision or stuff like that in the MCU, which is inherently PG-13. But this is your darker stuff, and I have a feeling Hulu is going to wind up where all that stuff goes, because we already talked about the 4 animated things that are definitely adult-orientated coming to Hulu, and now we have 2 more. A Variety report says that Ghost Rider and Hellstrom both separately have been greenlit for Hulu in another running series. It's going to be Marvel TV, so it'll be Marvel TV head Jeff Loeb will produce, and his track record's real iffy on me because he's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Inhumans. We all know Inhumans sucked, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is like a roller coaster of greatness and mediocrity. And the one place that I think where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. screwed the pooch the most is Ghost Rider, and not in the fact of Ghost Rider being bad by any means on the show, but Ghost Rider being awkwardly placed on the show instead of having his own show. So I actually have more hope for this than I do for the future of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, because they've already done it right. Now, according to what I heard from Campia earlier yesterday, that this will not have nothing to do with the character as it was established on S.H.I.E.L.D. So we're going to start from anew. But it's still going to be Robbie Reyes, which no one's really that familiar with Robbie Reyes that didn't watch S.H.I.E.L.D. or read comics. So I'll give you a quick rundown. Robbie Reyes is on the Tex-Mex border. He's the same as the Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, taken over by him, makes a deal. He makes the deal for, I honestly think it's to save his brother, who gets caught up in something that he actually lets unfold. I don't want to give out too much of the story, but anyway, he makes the deal. He takes on the mantle of the Rider. But unlike the Ghost Rider you're used to from the Nick Cage films or throughout most of Ghost Rider history, he does not ride the flaming motorcycle. He doesn't have the motorcycle, the flaming wheels. He actually drives a muscle car, kind of it's like a Charger, I think it was. And that's his thing. So same basic plot. Spirit of Vengeance, blood dropped. He goes and murders them. So we're gonna see uber violence. We're gonna see some deals with the devil, all that good stuff. But it's all gonna be done from the behind the wheel of a Charger. Like I said, everything that had to do with the story in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was awesome, except for when it had to do with something in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which sounds convoluted, but if you watched it, you'd understand. He just didn't feel like he belonged there, and every time he interacted with a S.H.I.E.L.D. aspect, it didn't really make sense. But every time they were telling the story I just told, like the actual Ghost Rider and the brother and all of that stuff, they were on point. So, I mean, basically what I'm getting at is they've already done this once, basically, so there should be no reason why they can't do it right this time around, keeping their focus on the writer. So I'm really excited about this one. I've always been a big Ghost Rider fan. Not the biggest Robbie Reyes fan. I'm way more a fan of the old Johnny Blaze and the other Ghost Rider was, but there were two. Anyway, way bigger fan of them. Danny Ketch. So way more bigger fan of those Ghost Riders than I am of this one. But that's not to say that I hate this Ghost Rider, because when he's used right, he has told some very compelling stories, even in the comic books. So I would love to see where this goes. I'm actually pretty excited to see how this one's going to turn out. As the other installment, notice I did say two, and that other one was Hellstrom. Hellstrom is a character I don't really know that much about. They changed the spelling up a little bit in the name. So instead of Hellstrom with double L, like actual hell, it's Hellstrom, like H-E-L, like, you know, where hell is from, and the north, and the, like, the realm of Asgard and hell, you know what I'm saying? He's from, they're displaying that hell, I guess. So it's Damien and Anna Hellstrom. They're sisters. The synopsis said they were born to a mysterious, powerful serial killer who, I have a feeling it's the actual devil. That's how it was in the comics. So if I spoiled something there by saying that, I'm sorry. That's how the comics are. But they didn't say the devil. They said a mysterious, powerful serial killer. So I think they're either going to stray away from the whole devil side of it, or they're just trying to keep that as a big reveal for the end. But come on, Damien Hellstrom, can you not put two and two together without reading the comic book on that one? But anyway, they track down the terrorizing worst of humanity. So, I mean, it's kind of like they've got all these cool hell powers, basically, to make it easy. But they're going to be doing basically the same thing Ghost Riders should be doing. They're going to be just totally knocking off people who do bad, like zero remorse, like total vengeance type style stuff, like Punisher, right? Now, like I said, I don't know much about these guys, so I don't know what to say much. I am excited this show's coming, because I like some of this darker fare of Marvel, and I like the fact it's going to be able to play out on its own. But even more so, now they're missing some components to what I'm about to talk about, but these two being picked, if this works, I just have a really good feeling this is eventually going to lead to a form of one of my all-time favorite, like, dark Marvel stories that has to do with the supernatural, and that's the Midnight Suns. Every time we do something with the Midnight Suns, it won't involve Morbius, obviously, because that's a Sony outlet, so he'll be not part of the Midnight Suns anymore, which kind of hurts. He was one of my favorite parts of it. But we will get Blaze out of retirement with no powers, Ghost Rider, Hellstrom, Blade. Like, dude, the actual Midnight Suns comic is awesome. So if this is where they're going with this, then I'm all in. Like I said, this is just me leading to possible conclusions from where we're at. So I haven't heard anything about the Midnight Suns, but seeing Ghost Rider and Hellstrom coming out at the same time kind of screams, if this works, we're going further. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to see this go further, because if this gets to a Midnight Suns type angle and we really just start diving into the occult side of Marvel, and we're in for some amazing stories that will look so cool packed out on the screen instead of on the pages. Like I said, if that's where we're going, count me all in. I don't know for sure, but these look like two good clues as to where this will wind up if all of this folds out. So I have a feeling Ghost Rider and Hellstrom are just to test the waters. So if you got Hulu, watch these, give them some ratings, make sure everyone's watched them, and let's get to some more. I want to see all of this come back, and if Hulu's where they've got to do it, then so be it. Hulu's where they've got to do it. But you could probably see a pop-up of everything that kills things on Hulu, because that's what it's starting to look like. So That's all I've got for the 9 realms this week. So we're going to bump right out of the 9 realms. And as we go out of the 9 realms, we are going to go into one quick thing from What the Fox? Yes, What the Fox, where we talk about all the newest addition to the Disney Empire. Fox, Fox Searchlight, 20th Century Fox, all things Fox. So there's been some trailers, and the more I see them, I've come to this conclusion. This is going to be the first film I review from this Fox buyout that's now under Disney's hands. So they may not have had nothing to do with it. They're just marketing it now and going to benefit off of it because Fox is now them. But that is Tolkien. I was intrigued about this movie, but I wasn't that excited. Because from the first preview I saw, it looked really interesting. Then they started really focusing on the love story aspects, and it honestly started looking like it might be really boring. But as of these last couple of looks, the last one in particular, if you haven't seen it, I put it up on the site. But anyway, Nicholas Hoult and Lily Collins are playing in this, and it follows Tolkien's life, the guy that wrote Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and just many other amazing things. But it shows how he used aspects of his life, everything from growing up and being in school to fighting in the war. He was a linguist. He created his own language. Yes, Elvish. That is a whole actual language that he created and can be spoke and is real in every aspect to the point that he made it. So that is just awesome on its own. But to know that he built those fantastical stories, those just they're just amazingly just out there stories of wizards and hobbits and just everything involved, and there's a fantasy involved, and that he got all of those stories based on his real life interminglings, and all of it came from the things he saw, whether on the battlefield or growing up with his friends or even falling in love, and just all of that came full circle, and this kind of builds on all the little ways that he took these samples out of his life and weaved them together to turn real life into the ultimate fantasy. And just that description right there has me so intrigued on so many levels that I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I'm a fan. I like Lord of the Rings. I don't hate it. I loved the Hobbit cartoon when I was a kid. I actually love the movies and the books. I don't love them enough for them to not feel like a chore to revisit. You know what I'm saying? They're very long. You got to really be in that mood to get into them and run through all of them. And as much as I liked them, I don't love them. This, however, to me, seeing someone weave real life into fantasy, it honestly intrigues me more so than the whole fantasy story combined. I can't wait to see this. Like I said, it's going to be the first Fox movie I review, so it's probably going to be a day or two late. I won't lie. It's probably going to be at least a day late because my schedule's all messed up on this one, and I'm not going to be able to see it opening night, or not the day before opening night. So it might not come opening night. I might wind up having the review the day after the actual booked opening night, but we'll have to see. Only time will tell. But y'all, I'm very, very excited for this. I cannot wait to see this movie now. These two looks just have me overboard. If you haven't seen the looks, go into What the Fox on Snipes-n-Snarfblatts, and somewhere in the top, you'll see them. Check out the trailers. They're really good. I was so shocked at how good these looked. But anyway, that's it for What the Fox. There hasn't been much more out of the Fox universe, so let's swipe that away and go into one more category. We're going to go into the e-ticket. And the e-ticket is where we talk about all things in the Disney parks that really hit my eye, and usually it's things that are right in my backyard, and this one was right in my backyard and presented me with a really hard choice. And yesterday, the 30th anniversary celebration of Hollywood Studios kicked off. And there was a parade. There was supposed to be all this cool stuff. There's food. There's a new fireworks show called The Wonderful World of Animation. Anyway, I had a real-life conundrum. I could have, and it revolved around my monetary job. I could only take one of the 2 days. I could take the day this happened, which was yesterday, or I could go to Hollywood Studios for May the 4th for Star Wars Day, which is like the most important day to go to Hollywood Studios and just be with stormtroopers and Jawas and whatever else you can be with. So I chose the latter, obviously, because it's me and I'm everything Star Wars. Like, I live and breathe Star Wars. So I chose Star Wars Day. And I was really bummed at first, and then they showed the parade live, and honestly, I felt a lot better about my decision from this point. Because here's the thing. The Wonderful World of Animation, Firework, and Projection show. I can see that on the 4th when I go. And I'm probably going to tape it and put it up here on the show most likely next week. So y'all are going to see it. If I don't put it on the show, it'll be a special event like some of the other things down there. So y'all will definitely see it. But I could see that on the 4th. So all I was really worried about all of a sudden was getting my button, which I still missed out on my button. I wanted my 30th anniversary button, man. But after watching that parade, y'all, that parade looked like it was put together at the last minute, like the day before. It was just so anticlimactic. It was just the Toy Story part was great. That was probably the best part, and it was so short because it was a very short, just impromptu parade. I liked the little army men carrying their crayons and stuff. That was neat. I liked the tricked out Pixar cars and Toy Story cars that Buzz and Woody and them came out in. That was really cool. But other than that, it started off after Mickey and Minnie, obviously. It started off with Indiana Jones. They were really talking up my God, the commentary. The commentary made you want to rip out your ears. It was just so annoying. Like, I almost muted this just so they would stop talking. And so they're really talking up this whole stunt spectacular of Indiana Jones, and they go, oh, what's going on? And they get into this whole like battle area scene, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, which was anticlimactic as hell, because the very end was just them covering him popping up out of nowhere, and them all falling backwards like he had some kind of superpowers. All of a sudden, just really piss poor put together climax to a really cool little stunt thing that popped out impromptu in the parade. So that screwed up his part. And then they had this big Galaxy's Edge run out where all the people unhappily came out in their Galaxy's Edge costumes, and they were all of a sudden harassed for maybe 3-4 seconds by some stormtroopers, and then Rey and Chewie hit the stage real fast, so Chewie could just very unenthusiastically fire his bowcaster in the air and scare off the 2 stormtroopers. It wasn't even close to the everyday with Phasma and Kylo and Boba Fett, and none of them came out. So I just feel like so much opportunity was missed on this parade that you could have not even added but 3 minutes to the parade and a little more choreography and just had an amazing show to put on with it. As is, it looked like something, honestly, Six Flags would put together. It was, like I said, piss poor execution. Really good speech at the end, talking about the cast members, and that was really cool. I liked that, but other than that, it was just a really piss poor parade. So I wasn't missing anything. I am so glad I made the decision to go on Star Wars Day instead. But now, however, they did do one thing. This logo that popped up a second ago, that is the brand new Hollywood Studios logo. And I'm a really big fan of that. I like that. That's a really, really cool logo. That shakes it up a little bit for Hollywood Studios. And like I said, I really dig that logo. So one really cool thing came out of it, and it's that logo. So I'm happy for that. But other than that, I'm just glad I missed it. I'll try some of the treats on the 4th, and I will watch the show on the 4th, and I will be so happy on the 4th because it'll be Star Wars Day. So I'm so glad I made the choice to go to work yesterday instead of just, man, like I said, very disappointed, y'all. That should have been a lot. 30th anniversary celebration. That should have been a whole lot bigger than what y'all made it. But anyway, enough of me ranting about their 30th anniversary. One more time, cool logo, but we're going to get right out of the e-ticket, and that's it for the show. So as usual, go to that email address, snipes-n-snarfblatts@gmail.com. And shoot us some emails. Let us know if there's anything you want to see. Let us know if there's anything I didn't talk about you want me to talk about. Let us know, like I said, anything you want to see in the park, we'll go through it. Go down there in the comments. If you're on the website, change it over to YouTube and go down there in the comments, or not the comments, but the description. While you're in the description, you will find a link to the website, but underneath that, you will find a link to Facebook, a link to Twitter, a link to Instagram, a link to Pinterest. Follow us on all of those, mainly Facebook and Instagram. So if you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, you will be up to date every day with everything as I put it on the site. And you will also get all of my pictures from the park. There's really cool events going on right now, like the Flower and Garden. I'm putting up topiaries. I'm putting up those really cool plants that look like people every day. I'm also putting up food reviews, drink reviews all the time. I've even got some stored up for after Flower and Garden's over, or I actually run out of the whole Flower and Garden menu, to keep it going throughout until the next event, where there will be even more food reviews, drink reviews, event reviews. I'm going to check out everything as I'm there. So if you want to see some cool pictures of the park and some really cool reviews of, food, drinks, all that good stuff, even any of the shows that pop up as they are. I know the Guardian show's coming back soon, so make sure to check all of that out. Go follow us on all of those links, because we love to hear from you. We love your comments. I love to talk back and forth with y'all. I love all y'all's suggestions. I've actually got foods from the Food and Garden, the Flower and Garden, that came from y'all. I didn't even know about some of these or how good they were, and y'all suggested them, and there's reviews on those coming up. The cheesecake was a review straight off of someone to the site, and it was pretty good cheesecake. You weren't wrong. Honey is my new favorite topping for stuff, but you would know that if you were following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the above. So, like I said, follow us on all those social links. Can't wait to see y'all next week. Next week I will have Avengers Endgame in my head for the second time by then, so who knows? We might even talk about it a little more. And if you want to get spoilery, let me know. I'll do a special spoilers video if I get enough requests for one. But until then, I always sign off with a Walt quote, and with all the things that's happening, all the things that are happening with the live-action adaptation of cartoons and the Galaxy's Edge and just all this stuff that keeps coming out and just bringing us to these new areas in life, I feel like this Walt quote just really hits home at where we're at right now. And that quote is, "Fantasy and reality often overlap.